name's Lauren Sugden, and I'm a senior attending Rochester College. If you're a mass communication student studying the video arts like I am, come and intern at OCTV. Why, you may ask? Because OCTV not only offers the best hands-on training with experienced professionals in the field, but interns get the opportunity to relearn past skills or gain new knowledge, and especially to work with such a warm and welcoming team. So, if you or someone you know are interested in a great interning experience, give us a call at 248-628-9658 or send an email to manager@occtv.org to find out more.
Welcome to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kinney.
And we're here to talk about what goes on in the municipalities, the townships, the villages, and the governments that make all those regulations and rules that affect you out there.
That's right. And whether you come from Oxford Township, Addison Township, Village of Leonard, Village of Oxford, these are the people that you elected and the commissions and committees that they appoint and the decisions that they make, whether you show up at these meetings or not to voice your opinion, directly affect you.
And you know what? There can be some surprises that come out of these meetings. You know, we hunt as we may. We find humor occasionally embedded.
Little diamonds in the rough of humor.
We do. Well, let's talk about the first bit of humor, if we can, and it's called the Oxford Board of Education.
I'm sure they'll be glad to hear that.
I'm sure they will. We'll be getting all kinds of communique over this, I'm sure. They had a representative.
To put it mildly.
Actually, the principal of Daniel Axford, who presented 4 young ladies who are in a reading program that they have at the school, and whoever the second graders, third graders, if they can read so many books for so many minutes and accumulate time, this principal will camp outdoors, and he's just hoping for no rain and no snow. When this will happen.
Are they tested for retention?
They might be tested for retention. I'm not at all sure. But it was pretty interesting. The little girls spoke very well. They passed the microphone amongst them. And one of the little girls talked about this book she read about bullyings, about kids being bullied in school.
Oh, yeah.
And how the young person was able to turn it around and get the support from everyone else, in the school. It's a pretty interesting book.
Huh.
And so anyway, that program is ongoing. And the principal said, I think soon they're going to know if they've reached their goal. But he said it doesn't look good for him right now. So he said, I'm planning in advance. And they said, well, how are you planning in advance? He says, well, I checked with the fire chief and see if I could have a fire outdoors.
And the nice thing about this is it's getting warmer.
Well, yeah, but we just had snow the other day, almost 4 inches or so.
And we could get more.
We could, and it probably will on the night that the principal's being outside. But he said, I just said that I would, sleep outdoors. He said, I didn't say I wouldn't be in a camper. And I think that one has kind of been taken away from the drawing board, though, and he will actually camp in a, tent or something along that line.
A little pup tent.
Mm-hmm. The fire chief says, just for you, and we'll give you a permit so that you can have a campfire at least, He says, so we're going to have marshmallows, so if you want to join me, and nobody took him up on it, so I don't imagine.
Well, we'll see how this comes out.
Yeah, so anyway, you got to think that there's a lot of energy involved, with both the kids and, of course, the administration, the people that...
Well, I guess that principal shouldn't put away his winter clothes yet.
He probably should not. Can you say snowmobile suit, maybe? Anyway, so that was pretty...
Is that a bear I heard outside that tent?
Yeah. Oh, darn, it's just a porcupine.
I see.
Okay. Anyway, they also talked about Teacher of the Year. They did appoint Teacher of the Year, and they did talk to a number of other people that were highlighted in terms of their achievements in helping kids. Was this at Daniel Axford or for the entire school system? Well, this is for the entire school system for the appointments of teachers. And there were also people that, for example, one lady is a crosswalk, crossing guard. Crossing guard, yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. 2 words, crossing guard, right? Okay. Okay. And she's also very active in other things too, and from the school standpoint. Some of the names that came up were Mrs. Shar Murphy, for example. She, with very little resources, she was able to put together a program in a room for kids after hours. And it first started out with just a few students, and now they said that kids are clamoring to get into that particular class, and that's after hours. So she's done a great job, Shar Murphy. Yeah, another one is Kim McKeezak, and Peggy Richards was mentioned as well. Connie Burke, a resident of Lake Orion, who actually is the crosswalk person I was talking about, and she comes into Oxford, and Daniel Axford, and volunteers her time, has been consistent, you know, with volunteering in the school system.
So is this for Teacher of the Year, or is it for a more general Employee of the Year?
Yeah, this is in recognition of other employees or other people, volunteers that throughout the year have made a difference, you know, for the kids at school. Diane Zenick was another one that was named. And let me see. All of these names would be submitted to Oakland County to determine, you know, who's going to be the top pit bull in the group. I guess you call it pit bull. Anyway, the Chihuahua.
Before a board of impartial judges, right?
Right. Impartial, right. So anyway, so they had very good accolades, you know, for all these people. It's amazing, you know, the energy that these people have, you know, for the school system. They then talked about Teacher of the Year. Sixth grade teacher, who's a math teacher, is Rebecca Vebb, I believe it is. And she's also a student council advisor. And so she was named.
Well, anybody that can get across the ideas of mathematics to dummies like me, I give a lot of credit
to. Raise another dummy. You're pretty smart, actually, when it comes to math, I think.
Well,
science, I know, for sure. You can, science, you know, there's a star, there's a satellite, that's more than I got.
You don't want to talk to my calculus teacher.
Okay. Well, I think it came to a crossroads when you were building dynamite sticks. You know? I think that's probably why she was upset.
Oh.
By the way, what happened to that building anyway?
I don't know. I was mowing my lawn that day.
Oh, I see. Okay, sure. That's your story anyway. So anyway, the dynamite is out of your picture now. They would have called you probably a terrorist back then.
Oh, probably not. That's what they called you last year.
Yeah, but I mean a 7 or 8 year old terrorist.
Well, I don't think they called him that back then.
Well, they since have, you know, progressed.
I don't know what they called it back then. Called, oh my God.
Yeah. Or your dad looked at it and said, a mistake. Maybe? I don't know. Anyway, it could happen.
Well, back to the drawing board.
Okay, back to the drawing board again. Had 8 more kids after that. Lori Levance was also, she's in charge of the environmental club and very active in that group too. A couple of other names, Brian Luba, who's a physical education teacher. Very unique young man. Again, very active, you know, with the kids, developing programs, you know, for to make sure that kids are physically fit, and that there are some sports programs that are implemented, you know, for the school. Great. Leslie Smith is another first grade teacher, was named, and I hope I get these names right. I'm notorious for getting them wrong, so we could say that we're changing the names here, and that's one of the rumors that we have running, right?
Mom, that sounds like you, but he didn't do it right.
No, right. Stacy McDonald. Now that's a real easy one to remember. McDonald, old McDonald. Anyway, Stacy McDonald. She's a Clear Lake teacher, and she's Teacher of the Year. Was named as well. So anyway, very good teachers that spend a lot of their own personal time and money to make sure that the kids are well taken care of in terms of education and their welfare. With that being said, let's talk about more of this when we come back right after this.
I would love to have all the local World War II veterans on my life. Just think about it. These folks were born around World War I, grew up during the Depression and Prohibition, and then went to fight for us in Europe and Japan. What great stories they could share. What examples they are. What inspirations. Some of them and others are coming up on my life Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m., Saturdays at 10 a.m. If you have any suggestions, please call us at the station. We'd love to hear from you. This is John Ochins. Join us on Oxford Community Television, keeping it local.
Everywhere you turn in Oxford is a new opportunity for fun. From the sandy beaches of Stony Lake and Scrifter to the many different sporting events and other recreational activities held at Seymour Lake Park. For those who like long walks, you can find yourself exploring the Pollyant Trail throughout Oxford's more scenic areas. And if it's seclusion you like, look no farther than Oakwood Lake Park. So bring your family or friends out to see one of our beautiful parks today.
Welcome to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we just got involved with the meeting for the Oxford Board of Education, and we talked about Teachers of the Year and, you know, named a number of people that were involved in that. The next step that they had was the superintendent, Tim Throne, talked about strategic planning and technology. And he said right now the plan is pretty much in place in terms of strategy as developed by the previous superintendent. And
Mr. Skilling.
Mr. Skilling, Bill Skilling. And
Dr. Skilling, actually.
Dr. Skilling. Mr. Skilling.
Whatever.
We know who he is.
You know.
Yeah, he's been around here since Moses. But anyway, he's going to be leaving, of course, and Tim Throne will be taking his position as superintendent. So he's in the process, Tim is, of putting everything together and getting all of his ducks quack in a row,
All right.
as you would say. And it looks like he's got a plan to make this thing work. So there will be more in the future. He said in the next meeting he'll discuss more of these issues. But anyway, so the strategic plan for the schools will be in place and develop further. They did talk about budgets after that, and the budget...
Always a happy subject.
Yeah, they have a budget increase for year 2015 from $48 million to $52 million.
Anticipating an increase in revenue?
They are actually looking for a decrease in revenue unless they pass the vote on this ballot that's coming up on Proposal 1.
I was going to say, it sounds like the old make less, spend more.
Right. What do you know about that Proposal 1, by the way? The tax.
Oh, Proposal 1. Well, basically, on the face of it, it looks like you're going to take a vote on a proposal that will have a tax increase or a tax shift to increase the amount of revenue for improving our roads. However, like any good bill coming out of our legislature, it started out as a little pine tree, but it ended up as a big Christmas tree with a lot of ornaments on it.
I see.
So you got to read this thing closely, folks.
So where is the money actually going, you know, from this thing?
Well,
first of all, I understand
I think there will be a general increase of about $2 billion through all the manipulations that are going to go on, and 1.3 million will be allocated to roads and repairs and maintenance and all that good stuff.
But don't they have a debt to pay off with MDOT in the meantime?
I'm not familiar with that one.
Okay, there's like, I understand there's going to be earmarked like $800,000 for the first 2015 and $400,000 for 2016 to pay off debt that has accumulated to MDOT. So all the money is going to go towards bridges to start with.
And as far as what motorists will notice at the pump, it'll be a progressive thing over probably about 3 years of gradual increases in what you see as a price, that tax portion as a price per gallon.
Can you say $30 a gallon?
No.
Okay.
But
maybe not.
Also, it's going to, one of the ornaments that's on there will be to
tentacles.
Provide for money that would have been lost for school revenue through the current tax, which will be deleted. So part of that $2 billion will be going to schools.
Yep. Well, one of the concerns that the school board has, of course, is that some of this money that they were getting before, for example, they were just awarded last year $100 per student, which is for performance. And they were rated as one of the top performing schools in the state of Michigan, which is interesting because the survey indicated that they weren't, you know, considered that high on the totem pole with other schools. And so why would they then get, you know, this award from the state? That's because they're deserving of it, obviously, or they wouldn't get it. But the state government said, now be careful because we're going to cut that back. You're not going to get $100 per student. As a matter of fact, you'd be lucky to get $40 per student.
Although with this proposal, it corrects a situation that existed prior to that, in that some of this money that was allocated to schools was actually going to universities and colleges, and that won't occur anymore.
Right. Well, they're going to take away some of the monies, like you said, that were allocated through previous taxes. But it's just a matter of shifting. Now, you can't come up with $2 billion in revenue without costing somebody.
You say shift, I say Chinese puzzle, because it's just hard to figure out exactly how all the pieces moved around and how they ended up.
Well, that's the fun part of government, and that's the humorous part of government.
But anyhow, you owe it to yourself to go out and get a copy of this proposal and read about it so you can make an informed decision.
It's true. And there's a lot to it, and that election, of course, is going to be on May 5th. And Addison Township actually has a rider on this thing, too, concerning...
a rider?
Yeah, it's the bus system.
Or an extra...
Addendum.
An extra
Attachment.
proposal.
A proposal, yes.
Right.
For busing.
Busing.
What kind of busing?
School busing.
What? No, not school busing.
I know, it's NOTA.
And what's NOTA?
Northeast Oakland Transportation Authority, which, by the way, this will be the third time this thing has been in the game.
Yeah, third time and a charm.
Yep.
Yippee-yi-yay. So anyway.
So they're hoping that funding will once again be restored, and Addison Township will be available for those services.
Again, they probably wouldn't be going for it, except there's a whole bunch of bears lined up with picket signs. They're not riding the bus anymore, and they want to ride the bus.
That's right.
So
don't poke the bear.
Don't mess with the bear. You got it. Addison Township, that's a word of warning. Okay. So anyway, hopefully that bus program will run through, like the other townships have approved it. So it's a good thing for people that are less fortunate to be able to, don't have transportation, be able to ride it. They said the good news for Oxford school system is that there's an increase in enrollment. Now, the bad news was the Chinese are going to enroll over 200 people coming up. So do we have the facilities to be able to handle it? And there were...
Do the Chinese students sort of count in that overall calculation?
No.
No?
They will, though.
No, I mean in terms of head count.
In head count, they're looking at the total numbers as to who they can accommodate, for classrooms.
Right. Well, I'm thinking in terms of money that's allocated per student.
Yes, and actually, Wei Ming will pay $10,000 per year per student. What's interesting is that some parents were there.
But that's much more than just education. That's actually to put those students in the dormitories and what have you.
No.
No?
It's for education.
Oh, okay.
And our students, as a matter of fact, if you look at the expenses, roughly $12,000 per year per student.
All right.
So it's actually less than what our students, are allocated for. And so the question whatever,
in its lair,
came about out of its den, that the residents said, you've got buses, transportation, all kinds of things involved with this, extracurricular activities that are going to be provided. And they went over the contract, in which they were upset with the contract, and reviewed that again with the board. And the board listened intently and said, we'd be glad to meet with everyone, after this meeting or any time that you want to schedule. A couple of individuals on the board said, well, before I was against this proposal and having Wei Ming come in. Now I've changed my attitude with some adjustment. There's still some things that need to be changed. So a couple of those things is in the contract. It says that we will do everything in our power to, once these kids get through high school, to get them grants and so forth to go on to college, in here in Michigan or in the United States.
Okay, so it wasn't, so their stay is not limited just to their high school experience.
It goes
where
beyond.
you would think maybe they'd go back to China. It's going to be a continuing education on the part of a higher education.
That's right.
Okay.
And we'll tell you more when we come back right after this. Welcome to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're talking about the school system, but we're going to move on from that now, and we're going to talk about the Oxford Area Cable Communications.
Oh, lovely.
Meeting. You were there.
I was there.
Yeah. And Brian Cloutier filled in for Sue Bassardet. Because, I don't know, she was out partying. We'll spread that.
Brian is the
not.
village alternate for going to these meetings for
He
sure.
is. And he serves on the village council as well. So he's, and he was on the board before. He was on this board.
Yeah.
So he's familiar with the protocol and what goes on. Let me see. Minutes are to be transcribed by video disc for Terry Stiles. Now, Terry is going to take the minutes from the meeting off disc and put it in the hard copy.
Right.
Whereas they used to pay, I think it was $125
Right,
per
right.
meeting to do it.
Right.
So we've saved, actually Terry has saved them that kind of money. Good job, Terry. February 23rd, 2015, minutes were approved, bang, done, all those in favor, yes, okay. Bill run for February 23rd through March 9th, excuse me, 4-week period was $20,597.53, and you would know that because you put the report together.
Yes, I did.
Okay, good job, by the way. And they did pat you on the head, I think.
Yes, they
Right.
did.
Good job. Okay.
Got 3 attaboys on that one.
3 attaboys. Let me see. Then they talked about revenue coming in from charter, and there's like a check for $9,000 that they're expecting, and another for $3,000, and that kind of thing. And so there was a discussion about that,
And where the money goes
where
into
the-
what year.
where the money goes and to what year. Because what's interesting is even though they get the money this year, it's for last year's activity. Isn't that right?
Yeah, it's always a subject of controversy when that occurs, but it's been that way forever.
And we played catch up, even though, and the problem was that there's nothing in the budget indicating that the money should go into this year's budget. It's all in last year, right?
Right.
Wasn't that the confusion?
Yes.
Okay.
And
And you're
you
gonna
know,
straighten that
because
out, right?
you're looking at, oh, this is wonderful. Oh, it's going over there.
There it goes. Whoops, here it comes back.
But it's been that way for years, so it's
Well, the easiest thing is
people tend to forget exactly what the rules were and then they get reminded again.
I think the easiest thing to do is for all those people to turn around, point at you and say it's your fault.
No.
I can't do that. Okay, well, we won't do that either. They did talk about the interlocal agreement. Everybody has signed the interlocal agreement except for...
Village of Leonard.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Come on, Village, let's get it together.
So,
I think
anyhow,
it's because they...
by the next meeting, we are assured that they will have signed and we will have a complete interlocal agreement. Ta-da.
Well, I think the reason why Leonard doesn't have it signed is they're so easy, laid back over there in Leonard. Nice people. Don't get too excited about too much.
Watch it there.
They might get excited about the show when they see it. Other than that, they're pretty good people. They're busy out chasing groundhogs and stuff like that, whatever they need to do, right? Nice little town. If you've never
Yes.
been to Leonard, do go there. They have a parade that's actually coming up this summer. It's going to be the Strawberry Festival.
The Strawberry Festival.
Yep, best strawberries in the state.
Good.
Yeah, right. So you want to attend that. You'll see some advertising out there, and we'll make
Yeah,
you aware
the
of it,
flyers
too.
will abound.
They will, and we'll let you know here on Minutes by Minute as well, more about it. Let me see. There were some budget amendments, which Lori Fisher was on top of in recommendation. There was $6,728 in interest. What was interesting is $11,267 was money in the black. In other words, you had extra money from 2014. Very well done.
Yes.
And
does that get shifted to the 2015? No.
Why is that? I never understood that. Did you?
It gets put in the fund balance.
In the general fund.
Yeah.
It's called David's Pocket. No.
No.
Hey, if you
You're
know
gonna
the way
get me in
this
trouble,
guy, you know the way this guy operates, he's looking at the budget and he's saying, hey, there's a penny there. Where'd it go? He'll spend a week finding it, but he'll find it. Usually in your pocket.
Well, that's called petty cash.
That's called petty cash, is right. New business, OCTV sponsor, local events. They were talking about that. We might want to become a sponsor for various government locations, like Township, Oxford, Leonard, Addison, Lakeville, that kind of thing, if there's anything going on.
Parades or whatever,
yeah.
the Lone Ranger parade specifically, or...
We've pretty much done that. We just haven't done it with money or financial
We've done it with our sweat.
We've done it with sweat, and we'll continue to do that, folks.
That's right.
Out there. Let me see, committee report, education, school communications program. Oh yeah, the camera with the school system. They did talk about that. Oxford High School and the communications people over there want to have a partnership with this station.
Wonderful.
For kids over there. They need training on cameras and that kind of thing. And as far as doing shows even, we're trying to encourage high school kids, the ones that are better at the communication program, to put together their own show. So you'll probably be seeing some of their work on here at some point.
They've got a wonderful facility at the school, and perhaps we'll be showing those from time to time here.
Absolutely. DDA had a meeting, and I'll hit this real quick. Pete Schultz is the chairman. Excuse me, I'm choked up. They did a director's report with Jenny Shomish, and no director's report, she said. Okay, so they went on. Bills for DDA was $11,846.66. It was approved. What was indicated by the treasurer is that right now DDA is in the hole $50,000, but I
thought they were crawling out of that hole.
Oh yeah, well, the hole is still there. It's a black hole. It could be. No light at the bottom. But anyway.
You can hear a sucking sound.
Yeah. The village manager, Joe Young, said, yes, but we have $42,700 coming in. When it's coming in, we're not exactly sure, but he talked about the tax, when the money was released, to DDA.
Is that like the check is in the mail?
Yes, and I would worry about that. The check is in the mail. Does it ever get there? No, it'll never return, but it might. So they're going on a might.
And its fate is still unlearned.
Right. And in the meantime, they're saying, well, we need to hire somebody to coordinate the Lone Ranger festival.
As opposed to the DDA executive director.
Right. She really doesn't have the time to do that because it's quite a process now.
Okay.
It's kind of gotten, out of hand, so you need somebody that can control it. And it's kind of late in the game right now, so there aren't enough people they can put together fast enough to do this. So
and the posse has pulled out of town already.
Yeah, right. The person they suggested for this was Lisa Renard, and she actually was, for a short time, the chamber director.
Is it Renard or Renaud?
Renard, I believe it is. And again, I can mask her names. I said that before. So hopefully if I did that to you, Lisa, I didn't mean to. Rod Charles will again be the parade coordinator. Rod has
been a promoter of the Lone Ranger Parade ever since we've been associated with him.
He has. And I'll tell you what, he does pull together people, for that function with no problem at all. He has the charisma and the ability.
He is a real spark plug.
What do we got coming up, buddy?
Well, we do have meetings this time. On April 7th at 7 o'clock, the Village of Oxford Planning Commission. On 4/8 at 7 o'clock, the Oxford Township Board of Trustees, an interesting meeting. 4/13 at 7 o'clock, Oxford Township Zoning Board of Appeals. Got to check on that one because sometimes they don't meet. And at also 7 o'clock the same day, the Village of Leonard Council, which will sign the interlocal agreement. And on 4/14 at 6:30, the Village of Oxford Council. And at 7 o'clock, the Addison Township Fire Board. And at 7:30, Addison Township, once again, the Planning Commission. But check on that one because sometimes they don't meet.
This is Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kinney.
We'll catch you next time right here.
See you then.